My name is Kathy Rowan, I'm 30, and I was raised to be the shadow behind the spotlight. My family is Beverly Hills to the bone. Image first, substance later. My sister Tess? She's the headline. I'm the fine print. The one who doesn't ruin the photo, but never gets tagged either. I've kept my head down, made my own money, built a life by grit, not grace. But when my parents gave her a BMW with a red bow and handed me a piggy bank with $2 inside, something snapped. I should have walked out then. But I stayed. Stupid. Hopeful. The bow was massive, red silk, satin shine, big enough to smother a crime scene. Tess squealed. My parents laughed like it was the finale of a reality show. My mother clapped like someone had just been proposed to. My father reached for champagne. No one noticed my box. Thin wrapping. No card. When I tore it open, the scent of old plastic hit me. It was a cartoon piggy bank, pink and hollow, with a peeling price sticker from Goodwill. $2. Open it, my mother chirped. It's the start of your future. 2 folded dollar bills fell out. That's the kind of smart saving we admire, Dad added, his voice full of condescension dressed up as praise. Not like some people. He winked at Tess. She giggled and twirled the key fob. Don't be mad, sis, Tess said. You're always so low maintenance. This car's more visual. Visual. That word landed like a slap. I smiled. Tight. My hands didn't stop shaking. We all have our roles, my mom said, sipping her champagne. Tess needs to represent the family in public. You've always been more. Background support. My phone buzzed. A silent text. DMV notification. Title transfer confirmed. Vehicle. BMW X5. Registered to Kathy Rowan. What? I stared at the screen. Blinked. No way. The car. Was in my name? I looked at my sister. For a second, her eyes flicked away. Fast. Like a nervous tick. Like guilt. I stood up. Bathroom, I said. My voice barely cleared my throat. I moved fast, up the stairs, past framed family portraits where Tess was front and center in every shot. I locked the door behind me and leaned over the sink. Cold sweat. Dry mouth. My heart was thudding in my ears. I opened the DMV app again. Checked the VIN. Confirmed it. The car outside. That brand new luxury SUV. Legally mine. Why? Then the phone rang. Unknown number. I stared at it. Something twisted in my gut. I didn't answer. Voicemail dropped. I hit play. Distorted voice. No background noise. Stop acting surprised. You're already in deeper than you think. Static. Then silence. I dropped the phone. Picked it up. Called Tess. No answer. I ran a search through the DMV archives. The document was e-signed. Dated 2 days before Christmas. My signature. But I never signed anything. Who forged it? My mind went straight to Tess. Then to my parents. Then the hallway light flickered. Another buzz. Unknown number. 2 missed calls. I turned the faucet on, but didn't feel the water. I couldn't feel anything except my pulse slamming through my neck. Someone was watching me. Someone had set this up. I walked back down the stairs. Tess was showing Dad how to adjust the seat in the BMW. Mom was filming them. They didn't even glance at me. I sat on the edge of the couch, staring at the piggy bank on the glass table. Pink. Smiling. Empty. My phone vibrated again. Unknown number. 3 missed calls. This wasn't a prank. This was a setup. That wasn't the last call. It was only the first. Đã dùng 71% bộ nhớ nếu hết bộ nhớ, thì bạn không thể lưu tệp vào đời dài hoặc sử dụng Gmail. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. My phone buzzed all night. Unknown caller. 3 missed calls. Then 4. Then 8. By the time I hit the 101 freeway, the number was at 20. LA was a blur outside the windshield, billboards, palm trees, foggy neon. I gripped the steering wheel until my fingers went numb. Every call felt louder. Closer. I switched lanes. A black SUV switched with me. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe not. When you've spent your whole life being ignored, it's strange how quickly you notice when someone suddenly pays attention. Call 37 buzzed in as I hit the red light at sunset. I declined. It rang again. And again. By call 38, I picked up. Static. Then a voice.
Smooth.
Controlled. You shouldn't have checked the registration.
Click.
My throat dried. I looked in the rearview mirror. The SUV was gone. Nothing but fog and taillights. Nothing's real until it breaks, someone once told me. Maybe that was the moment I started braking.
Cutscene.
I pulled over on a quiet side street behind an old diner in Echo Park. No cars. No cameras. Just me, the weight of $2, and a list of questions no one wanted answered. I logged into my financial accounts.
Blocked.
I opened the DMV portal. Error. Account under investigation.
Cut.
Sharp breath. The system was folding in.
Fast.
Not hacked, rerouted. Someone was changing my legal footprint in real time. My screen flashed again. Session expired. Too late now. I stared at those words like they were the punchline to a joke I'd never get. My phone dropped. I bent down to pick it up. That's when I saw him. A figure. Across the street. Standing under a busted lamppost. Face hidden. Hands in pockets. Watching. Still. He took one step toward me. I slammed the door shut and locked it. He didn't run. He walked, casual, slow, as if he knew there was nowhere I could go that he wouldn't already be. He stopped 5 feet from the car, leaned toward the window. They won't save you, Kathy. Then he vanished into the alley. I didn't scream. I drove. Windows up. Doors locked. Music off. Sometimes silence is the only noise loud enough to hear the truth. Scene shift. By the time I reached my apartment, it was almost 3 a.m. I parked underground. Checked the mirrors again. No SUV. Still. The hair on my neck stayed standing. Elevator. Floor 6. Hallway silent. My keys slipped into the lock. My apartment was cold. Too cold. The light in the kitchen was on. I hadn't left it that way.
Cut.
I stepped in. Stood still. Nothing looked out of place, but everything felt off. I checked the windows.
Locked.
Bathroom. Empty. Bedroom. Door cracked open. The lamp on my nightstand was on. That lamp hadn't worked in 2 months. I didn't turn it on.
Cut.
I backed out.
Slowly.
My phone vibrated. Unknown caller. Call 77. I stared at the number. Then I answered. Static. Then a voice.
Tess.
Kathy, you need to run. They're coming tonight. A sound like glass breaking behind her. Then silence. If Tess dies, I become the only person alive who can take the fall.
Đã dùng 71% bộ nhớ. Nếu hết bộ nhớ, thì bạn không thể lưu tệp vào đời dài hoặc sử dụng Gmail.
Tess's voice was still echoing in my skull when I killed the lights and slid my phone into airplane mode. No more calls. No more unknowns. I grabbed my bag, yanked the fire escape window open, and climbed down barefoot into the alley. Cold metal. Screws loose. Every creak felt like a gunshot. LA was asleep, but something about the air said otherwise. I hit the ground. Started running. Every dark corner felt like it breathed. My car was 2 blocks away. Underground garage, level B2. I kept the keys clenched so tight they left marks in my palm. Scene cut. The elevator was too slow. I took the stairs.
2 at a time.
Level B2. Dim lighting. A buzzing flicker in the far corner. My Honda sat quiet, waiting. Then I saw it. Black SUV. 2 spaces down.
No Platz.
Engine still ticking. And then movement inside. Passenger seat. I ducked behind a pillar. Held my breath. Fear sharpens what comfort dulls. Something my therapist used to say. Before I stopped going, the SUV door opened. A man stepped out. Medium build. Dressed like no one you'd remember in a crowd. He didn't look around. He walked straight toward my car. Then stopped.
Kneeled.
Checked under it. Something metallic glinted. I pull my phone out, snapped a picture. Flash fired. Too loud. Too bright.
He turned.
I ran.
Cut scene.
Feet pounding cement. Keys in hand. I bolted up the stairwell. Skipped 3 steps.
Hit my shin. Didn't stop.
Apartment. 6th floor. Door wide open. Someone had been here. Again. I didn't even go in. Just backed away down the hall. My neighbor's camera. Apartment 608. I remembered it. Always recording. Maybe it caught something. I scribbled a note. Slid it under their door.
Cut.
Coffee shop. 2 miles away. Open 24/7. I needed Wi-Fi. I needed a plan. I needed answers. And maybe a gun. My laptop booted up. Email.
New.
No subject. Sender. Unknown@domainstrip.com. 1 line. They've been laundering money for years. You were just the backup plan. Attached. A clip. I clicked.
Surveillance footage.
Time-stamped. My parents' home office.
Tess.
Signing a document. Smiling. My name on every page. Every single
Page.
scene cut. I drop my coffee. Hands shaking, I rewind the footage. Dad enters. Hands Tess a pen. They both laugh. This way, she'll never know until it's done. A printer whirs in the background. I close the laptop. My stomach twisted. My throat closed. Not just betrayal. This was precision. This was practiced.
Planned. Cut scene.
Back on the road. Phone vibrated. Airplane mode off now. Unknown caller. I answered. Voice low. Controlled. Who is this?
A breath.
Then, you were never supposed to dig. Where's Tess? She made her move. Now we make ours.
Click.
I stared at the screen. This wasn't about the car. It was about the paper trail. About something bigger.
Twist.
Distraction reveal. I remembered the bank. 2 days ago, my account had a new cosigner. I pulled up the banking app. Security alert. Joint account. Tess Rowan and Kathy Rowan. Over $7 million passed through in 6 months. Transfers flagged. Pending investigation. If Tess dies, I become the only person alive who can take the fall.
Đã dùng 71% bộ nhớ nếu hết bộ nhớ, thì bạn không thể lưu tệp vào đời dài hoặc sử dụng Gmail.
I left the coffee shop the second the video ended. I couldn't breathe in there.
Couldn't think.
The room felt wired, like someone had planted a mic under every table. The night outside was worse. Quiet. Heavy. Watching. I drove home fast. Too fast. Cutting through empty lights and empty streets, praying the SUV wasn't behind me. Every shadow felt like it moved. Every crosswalk felt like bait. Someone once told me, paranoia is just intuition turned up too high, but tonight it felt like intuition was the only thing keeping me alive. My building loomed ahead. 6th floor. Apartment 6C. Safe until it wasn't.
Cut scene.
The keypad blinked red, then green. Someone had already unlocked it. I stepped inside.
Slowly. Carefully.
The air was wrong. Still. Like someone had paused the room mid-breath. Then the lights went out. Not all at once. One lamp flickered. Then the kitchen lights. Then the hallway. Like a countdown. I pulled my phone out, turned on the flashlight. The beam caught the bathroom mirror. A smear of red lipstick across the glass. You should have stayed quiet.
Cold hit my spine.
My heartbeat thrashed in my throat.
Cut scene.
A noise. A soft click. Front door easing open again, like someone testing it. I killed the flashlight. Dropped to the floor. Crawled behind the kitchen island. Breath locked tight. I heard footsteps.
Slow.
Heavy. Intentional. He walked past the kitchen. Paused inches from where I crouched. I gripped the only weapon I had, a chef's knife.
Dull. Too heavy.
My hand trembled anyway. 1 step.
2.
Then, my phone buzzed.
Loud.
Harsh. Violent in the dark. The man turned. I ran. Barefoot. knife still in hand, bolted for the fire escape. Shoved the window open. Fell onto the metal grate. He lunged, fingers brushing my heel. I kicked back and slid down the ladder, so fast the skin on my palms burned.
Cut scene. Alley. Wet concrete.
Smell of motor oil and old cigarettes. I sprinted hard, breath tearing out of my lungs. I didn't look back. I reached the street and flagged the first rideshare I saw. The driver stared at me like I'd crawled out of hell. Bad night, he asked. Drive, I said. He drove. I hid the knife under my coat. Tried to slow my breathing.
Failed.
Sometimes the universe whispers, he said. If you don't listen, it starts throwing bricks. I didn't have room for metaphors, but it stuck.
Cut scene.
I got to Elias's place just after 4 a.m. He opened the door shirtless, groggy, annoyed, until he saw my face. What happened? They're framing me, I said. I need your help. He let me in, locked the door twice. We spread everything out on his table, my laptop, the video, the DMV record, screenshots of the forgery. Elias typed fast, fingers flying like he'd been waiting for an excuse to break a few federal laws. A new message pinged. Encrypted. He cracked it in under a minute. Inside. A single sentence. They've been laundering money for years. You were the contingency plan. Below it, an attachment. A second clip. This time, my father and Tess weren't in an office. They were in a law firm. And sitting across from them, my father's lawyer, Tess's ex-husband, the one I once accused of harassment, and my family defended anyway. He slid a contract across the table. Dad said, put everything under Kathy's name. If this collapses, she'll be the cleanest fall. My stomach flipped. Elias muted the audio. Looked at me. Kath, this wasn't an accident. No kidding. But hearing it from someone else made it real, in a way I couldn't undo.
Cut scene.
I needed more proof. Hard proof. Something physical. Something the family couldn't wipe or discredit. That meant going to the one place where they locked everything away. Their corporate office downtown. 19th floor. Controlled access. Cameras everywhere. But Elias knew the system. He pulled up the building's security schematic. Motion sensors reset every 90 seconds, he said. If you time it right, you can move blind. You're not coming with me?
He paused.
Looked at the door. I think someone followed you here. My blood iced. A shadow moved outside the frosted window. Not a hallucination. A person. Standing still. Watching. My pulse stuttered. How long? I whispered. No idea, he said. But they're not leaving. We killed the lights. Crawled into the hallway. Descended 2 floors by stair. Slipped out a side exit. The street was dead silent. A trash truck rumbled in the distance, too far to matter. Elias grabbed my arm. Kathy, your family is using you as a shield. And shields only serve one purpose. I swallowed hard. What purpose? To break. His words landed like a verdict.
Cut scene.
When we reached my car, a plain manila envelope sat on the windshield.
No stamp.
No writing. Inside. A printed sheet. A single phrase typed in the center. You weren't being erased. You were being built. My hands shook as I held it. Built for what? Then the streetlight above us flicked out. Just like the lights in my apartment. One by one. In a perfect line. Someone controlling the grid. Someone tracing me. Someone waiting. I wasn't being erased. I was being framed.
Đã dùng 71% bộ nhớ nếu hết bộ nhớ, thì bạn không thể lưu tệp vào đời dài hoặc sử dụng Gmail.
The night stank of electricity and rot. That copper tang in the air, like lightning had struck something that shouldn't have been alive. Elias drove.
Fast. No headlights.
We didn't speak for miles. At a red light, I finally asked, why me? His fingers tightened on the steering wheel. Because you never ask why, he said. You play clean. Quiet. You're their insurance policy. The light turned green.
Cut scene.
His apartment looked different now. Like it knew too much. We locked all the doors, shut the blinds, double-checked the router. Elias dropped his phone into a Faraday bag. If we're going into the system, we go dark, he said. We open the family server, accessed through a masked VPN. 3 passwords, 2 backdoors, 1 fingerprint ID Elias spoofed using a latent heat signature from a coffee mug Tess had once used. You ever wonder why some people keep their enemies closer than their allies? He muttered. Because enemies don't pretend. He cracked the mainframe. The screen bled open with folders. I opened one titled, Trust Holding Entity, Shadow. Inside were bank documents, scans, e-signature forms, names I didn't recognize. Except one. Mine. My social security number. My digital signature. My face, cropped from an old passport photo. A paper trail leading from shell company to shell company. A network designed to collapse if anyone traced it straight into my lap. Elias pulled up the joint account again. $7.2 million. Dates. Timestamps. Every withdrawal tied to a construction bid in South Florida. Fake bids. Inflated invoices. Signed off by K. Rowan. Laundering through ghost contracts, Elias said. And you're the ghost. Twist. Minor, sharp. Cut scene. My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. Check the news. Page 3. I did. Tess was declared missing. Officially. Police had been notified by an anonymous tip. Her last known location? My apartment building. My name was in the report. My name, not theirs. This is a slow kill, I said. They don't want me arrested. They want me dismantled. You ever hear the saying, Elias said, some families raise you to survive. Others raise you to sacrifice. I nodded. Slowly. I was raised to be both. Cut. My email pinged again. From Tess. A voice note. I played it. Static. Wind. Then her voice, thin, terrified. They think I'm dead. I heard them. Dad said if I talk, no one walks out. Not even Kathy. Gunshot in the background. Cut. Static swallowed the rest. I dropped the phone. They tried to kill her. They still might. Cut. My knuckles turned white. We need physical proof. That means the corporate vault, Elias said. Ravenwood Holdings HQ, downtown. 19th floor. Private elevator. No public access. Thumbprint lock. Can you get me in? I asked. I can get you up. Getting out. That's your problem. Cut scene. My mother texted me. Come home. Let's talk. I stared at the words like they were a trap carved into silk. She's trying to pull you back in, Elias said. Let her. I replied. On my way. I parked 3 houses down from my childhood home. The front door was open. The living room smelled like oranges and bleach. My mother sat alone. A single lamp lit her like a spotlight. Kathy, she said. You look tired. I know what you did, I said. She didn't flinch. We did what we had to. You're stronger than Tess. We knew you'd survive it. Is she alive? A pause. Almost invisible. Then, define alive. That was when I walked out. Cut. A silver Lexus ran a red light as I crossed the street. Clipped my shoulder. Sent me spinning. It didn't stop. Elias found me 10 minutes later, limping, bleeding. I told you, he said. They don't bluff. We drove straight to Ravenwood HQ. Cut. Garage entrance. Back door swipe. Elevator override. We reached the 19th floor just after 3 a.m. Office empty. Too empty. Like someone had burned the ghosts. The vault door was ajar. Inside, paper, boxes, discs. Elias scanned everything, fast. I grabbed a folder labeled Trusteeship, Asset Diversion Plan. Inside, an affidavit. Signed 3 weeks ago. If Tess Rowan is incapacitated or deceased, full legal responsibility of funds shall fall to Kathleen Rowan, power of attorney effective immediately. If Tess dies, you're not just the fall guy, Elias whispered. You're the executor. I looked down at my own forged signature. Then at the small handwritten note attached in red ink. Execute the plan if subject disappears. Make it clean. Make it hers. If Tess dies, I become the only person alive who can take the fall.
Đã dùng 71% bộ nhớ nếu hết bộ nhớ, thì bạn không thể lưu tệp vào đời dài hoặc sử dụng Gmail.
The city was still sleeping when I walked into the police precinct, box in hand. Inside it, the affidavit, the vault copy, Tess's voice recording, and a USB drive loaded with everything Elias pulled from the server. The officer behind the desk looked up, half aware, until he read my last name.
Rowan.
Eyes sharpened. Posture shifted. This is about the holding company, he asked.
No, I said.
This is about who built it to collapse, and who they plan to bury with it.
Cut scene.
They took me into a back room. A detective joined. Then another. Statements.
Timeline.
Evidence logged. The word fraud kept bouncing between them like a pinball. I didn't flinch when they said RICO. Didn't blink when they said prison time. What I said was simple. I'll give you everything, but I want Tess found alive. They paused. One of them said, "That's going to be difficult." "No," I told him. "It's going to be non-negotiable."
Cut.
12 hours passed. I sat in that gray room, under that buzzing light, listening to the echo of my own heartbeat. Then the knock came. Door opened. It was Elias.
Tess. Alive.
Barely, but alive.
Cut.
Hospital. Bright lights. Security at every door. Tess looked at me like she didn't know whether to cry or run. "Why didn't you stay gone?" she whispered. "Because you shouldn't have had to disappear to be safe." She laughed. Sharp. Hollow. "You still think any of this is about safety?" "No," I said. "It's about power. And I finally understand the difference."
Pause.
Then she reached into her hospital gown and pulled out a slip of paper. A list. Every account number. Every alias. Every offshore entity.
Signed.
"I kept copies," she said, "because I knew one day they'd turn on me too."
Cut scene.
Elias submitted the digital copies to the feds. I submitted the originals. The dominoes started falling fast. My father was arrested at a golf course in Palm Springs. My mother was detained trying to fly out of LAX. 2 board members at Ravenwood Holdings resigned within 36 hours. The lawyer, Tessa's ex-husband, flipped first. It took one press conference. And everything unraveled.
Cut.
1 week later, I stood in front of my old apartment door. The one where someone had watched me sleep. Where threats whispered through drywall. I opened the mailbox. Inside was one envelope. No return address. Just a key. A BMW key. The same one Tess flaunted that morning. Attached, a tag. Ownership restored. I didn't keep it. I dropped it in the nearest storm drain and walked away. Some gifts, no matter how shiny, are just bribes in better packaging.
Cut.
It took a month for my name to clear. 2 months for the government to seize what used to be ours. I got calls, messages, apologies dressed as explanations. I didn't answer. I changed numbers, moved cities. I started fresh with nothing but the truth and a fire that wouldn't go out.
Cut.
One night, Elias and I sat on a rooftop. Sky above. Cold wind. LA glittering below like nothing had happened. "I used to think being the quiet one was a curse," I said. He glanced at me. "It's not."
No.
"No," he said. "It's a superpower. Until they forget you have a mouth, and you finally use it." I smiled. Not because it was over, but because I survived it. And survival, when they built the story to end you, is the loudest thing you can do. Some people inherit wealth. Some inherit secrets.
Me?
I inherited the mess and the chance to break the cycle. That's all I ever needed. This time, I didn't answer. And I never will.